For all verified facts, subscribe to our YouTube channel and click the bell icon to get the latest updates.
Hello and welcome. The International Monetary Fund, or the IMF, has said that India is set to slip below Bangladesh in per capita gross domestic product, or GDP, as a result of the lockdown. The IMF sees the number coming now to $1,877. That's the per capita income in 2020. That's down 10%. Bangladesh, in contrast, is at $1,888, which is up 4%. According to the IMF. So the gap is not much, but the fact is that India is down and Bangladesh is up, not something that we would have expected even until a few years ago. So let's try and understand what this means and what this could potentially lead to. And I'm joined now by Madan Sabnavis, Chief Economist at CARE Ratings. Madan, thank you very much for joining us. So Madan, what do you read from this?
See, actually, the basic message from the IMF World Economic Outlook is that India is one of the worst performing countries in terms of a fall in GDP growth. And I think today, when you're making this comparison of per capita income of India vis-a-vis that of Bangladesh, that probably makes it look a bit more, let's say, a bit more scary. But the fact is that when my GDP is falling very sharply by around 10.3%, which is slightly more than what even the RBI has said. Because yesterday we heard the chief economic advisor saying that even the government's view would be more or less in line with what the RBI is saying. So it means that the pandemic-induced lockdown, which was imposed in India, has had a very negative impact overall on the growth prospects of the economy, which gets reflected in these numbers which you're talking about.
Right. So now there are two parts to this. One is that India is slowing down and it's also slowing down because of the impact of lockdown, which we know. But it's also about other economies. Now, why is it that other economies have not been so badly? For instance, the same report says that India's fall is the sharpest in the world after Spain and Italy. So that's one. And secondly, how come a country like Bangladesh is showing growth in the same period?
So actually, it all depends upon the extent of the pandemic and the way in which countries and different governments have reacted to it. So if you look at the way in which India went in for the lockdown, it was right in the month of March, when apparently there were very few cases in India. So in retrospect, one could be a bit wise and say that we should not have gone in for a lockdown at that particular point of time. So in the month of March, it looked that was the most logical thing to do since all countries were going in for it. And the logic also was that if all of us remain locked up for 21 days, and given the fact that the virus spreads in 14 days' time, we would virtually banish the virus from the country. So probably that was a very simplistic way of looking at it. And what we saw was that as the cases kept escalating, the government kept having further lockdowns for further periods of time. By the time we decided to unlock, it was probably a case of saying that the government actually threw up its hands and said that, look, there's very little that we can do. The economy was getting ruined. And it was not possible for the government to support the economy. Because what was done earlier in the form of giving free food to the poor people, trying to make the migrants go back, it's not something which is really sustainable. And even today, we are seeing that lots of the measures which were announced, even on the monetary side, something like the moratorium, you have realized that the system is going to unbear it. And after August, you're saying that, okay, let's look at ways of going away from it because it's just not sustainable. And that's what we've heard from the Reserve Bank, we've heard from the banks. And I think it's an admission also from the government that we need to get the economy back and we need to learn to live with the pandemic. So I think that's what's really affected India more than the other.
Right. So now what does the figure of 1,877 mean? Now this is let's say 10% down, which means per capita GDP was about $2,100 earlier. I mean, this has more significance and ramifications than just comparing ourselves with Bangladesh. Am I right?
See, actually, Govind, what happens is that today when we are saying that our economy is falling, that is, we're actually talking in terms of my GDP falling. So what was projected to be something in the region of around 220 lakh crores, in rupee terms, if I'm saying for 2021, is now going to come somewhere closer towards 195 lakh crores. It means that if I'm going to divide it by the same amount of population, that there would be a less available income on a per capita basis. And that's what we're seeing in terms of per capita income falling. Now, we should also remember that when we are talking in terms of the GDP coming down, it's also been associated with production coming down, investment coming down, incomes coming down primarily because of job losses. So I think all these things get encapsulated in that particular number which you're saying. And I think it's very significant because if I'm saying that my per capita income is going to come down in this particular year, in this entire story which we have about consumption revival is something which will have to be punctuated with a lot of doubt as we go ahead.
Right. Now, if you were to look forward, it is going to take equal or more effort to get back to where we were earlier and then perhaps grow further. So, what is that going to take? And secondly, what is the impact of, let's say, a lower per capita income on other multiplier factors? You talked about consumption, but it could also be to do with overall growth. And in a way, can we infer whether jobs are safe or not safe? Are companies continuing to expand or not expand?
No, I would tend to think that the per capita income is a result of what's happening in the economy.
Right.
So the very fact that we are seeing job losses taking place, we are seeing that companies are cutting back on costs, we're seeing that investment is not going to take off anytime soon, especially in the private sector. All this results in lower multiplier effects on the GDP even in future. And that is going to get reflected in terms of lower growth numbers. And that's coming back into your per capita income numbers. Now, one should remember that when we are going about we're talking of a degrowth in this particular year, even though next year, as the IMF is talking in terms of a growth rate of something like 8.5% or 9% happening in our GDP, we may just about come back to the level of what we were in 2019-20, which means that our per capita income will probably at best go back to what it was before it came down. So the number you spoke of, slightly above $2,000, is what we may just about reach, which means that the overall prospects in terms of demand is not really going to increase even in the next year when we have numerically better numbers.
Right. Okay. Last question, Madan. So, when we compare with other economies, and in this case, of course, our neighbors, and also keeping in mind that other countries in the neighborhood also ahead of us in per capita income, is this something that we should be concerned about at all? This sort of comparison?
Yeah, I think we should be concerned because we have always taken pride in being one of the fastest growing economies. We've also said that we're going to reach that 5 trillion magic number in terms of size of GDP. And we always felt that we were much superior to all the countries in our neighborhood and that we were the ones who were actually driving this entire South Asia region. And today we get this picture that when the economy has slowed down or it's going to fall by around 10%, and even the revival is not going to be very strong next year, we just about to get back to the 1920 levels. I think it is going to be a major area of concern for the country, both in terms of reputation as well as overall standards of living.
Right. Let me add one more question. So, this is an average. So, it means that while the average is $1,877, for many people in many parts of the country, it's obviously much higher, and there are other people in some parts of the country where it's much lower. So, what does that mean in terms of where we stand today in the ranks of developing countries?
No, actually, Govind, I think this pandemic or this lockdown has been a kind of an equalizer, because if you look at it, I think incomes across all income strata has actually come down. We're talking even for the richest people to the poorest people. I think everybody has gotten affected. Everybody's income has gotten affected. So I think that is what is a major concern out here. It's not just a case of saying that it's the migrant laborers who have been affected. Even people like you and I who are working in the organized sector, we've also been affected in terms of our incomes being affected because our companies are not doing well, our business is not doing well. And that's the kind of a story which is going through, which I think is the major concern for us today.
Right, Madan Sabnavis, Chief Economist at CARE Ratings. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.